Okay, hi everyone. This is my second tutorial. The last one I got nervous and didn't talk about anything because it was the first time I've talked in a video, so it was horrible, and I didn't talk about really anything. I just kind of threw some samples in and didn't explain what I was doing, and I understand it was terrible, so this is another attempt at it. I'm also going under a new name. It's not Yellow Light District. I got kind of tired of that. It's too long. Doesn't really sound cool. It sounds more like a song title. So now I'm going under the alias of Scarfy Fishboy, which I think is appropriate. So these are how I'm gonna go into all the drums this time, and as well as the hi-hats, and explain them since I didn't the last one. So here's a bit how my new drums sound. I apologize. Okay, so you can hear that they sound like they're hitting pretty hard. Sorry, just making sure I didn't record last time. I got 5 minutes into this and realized I wasn't even recording. Okay. So the kick, of course I got a limiter on my drums channel group. For my kick group, I've got kick track. Here's the kick. It's got some nice definition to it. It's got some nice higher frequencies. It's got really good kick to it. So what I did for it, it's from Vengeance Dubstep Essentials 1. It's the first kick that's in the pack. I didn't mess with the sampler. First thing I did, throw on sausage fattener, set the fatness to 19%, color at 65%, and it doesn't clip, as you can see here. So no need to mess with the gain or anything. It's fine the way it is. So that here's it without any of the effects. Lame. With sausage fattener, getting there. And then to top it all off, I have brought up the 100 hertz for the nice punch in the kick by 6 decibels. It doesn't clip even without the limiter. It's just about getting to the top. That gives it the nice kick sound, and I left band 2 where it was. 3 is it's a bell, and I've brought up the Q a bit to cover a lot of the higher frequencies, so it brings out the nice things I like about the kick, like the high, like the really high frequency of it. Like, I don't know, for instance, say I put that down here. It's got some really nice I like to say plasticiness to it. That's what I like about it. It's got some nice high frequencies, so it cuts through the mix really well, and it's a good kick. I've got the limiter on this track as well as I have a limiter on every track, just in case. Probably not very CPU efficient. I don't give a shit. So that's my kick. Let me make sure. Okay. For the snare, I have over the whole thing a limiter, and I use 2 snares. Don't worry about this shit. I was just fucking around. Get out. Okay. I'm using this snare for the particular track I'm working on. and it's also in the Vintage Dubstep Essentials pack, and it's the first one. So sausage fattener on it to give it the punch. So 23% fatness, 58% color. Don't mess with the gain, it's not clipping. Of course, if you ever find yourself clipping, you'll see a red light, and then you adjust the gain accordingly. So without anything, you have shit. With getting there, and then I did the same thing for the kick, except move band 1 over to 200 Hertz, since that's where the snare punches. And it's not always at 200, it can be all around here, really. So that's just where I've done it. So the snare punch, brought it to high frequencies like I did with the kick to give it more of the pop sound. So, and I got my limiter. So it gives it a nice little punch sound. This is a snare from Reaction. You should go to his channel. He uploaded a really good snare pack. They're really good. I've edited a bit from what he uploaded. I put a sausage fattener on it, some other stuff, and bounced it back to audio. So that's a really good snare. For my hi-hats, this is going to be kind of like a redo, since last hi-hat video was just terrible because I was nervous and didn't go into how I did anything. So limiter, really, on the hi-hats, I'm kind of picky. I like the ones that kind of have almost a white noise sound, yet have a nice ting to them, I guess you could say, or a nice attack. Like, for instance, you can make a hi-hat in a synthesizer, like Massive or Operator, and it's going to come out with that sh, just like sh noise. Or like an 808 sound. But these are collected from different sample packs. I made these two. These are all from Vintage Dubstep Essentials. These two are from Vintage Dubstep, but I edited them heavily. Okay, so pretty much use some good samples. Don't get a hi-hat that's too quirky, has too much, I don't know, say you tried to use a hi-hat that sounded something like this, if I can find it quickly. Like this. Don't use hi-hats like this. I mean, you can once in a while. No one wants to hear this in a song. Trust me. When I hear a lot of new dubstep music, I cannot stand to hear shit like this. Hold on. Okay. And usually, some people don't even have two hi-hat samples. They'll just use one, and that's really repetitive and annoying to me. It sounds like a rap beat. I do not want to hear that. It's so repetitive. I'll hear a lot of this. This is the example I didn't show so well in the last video. Please do not do this. Believe me, there is stuff like that out there. Or I'll see something like I did this, and I'm guilty of doing this too. I did it on my first 20 tracks I ever made, and people hated them. I'm still not that good. I think all I've got down is the drums, but you know, just stuff like this is really terrible. Back on the subject of the quirky hi-hat, you don't want something that's too unique, to be honest. Like, if it's a snare or a kick, that's cool. Since the hi-hat is going to hit probably 10 times more than the kick and the snare in the song, believe me, no one wants to hear this. No. Please don't do that. Okay. So, what I do for my hi-hats is sometimes I'll add a groove to them, like a little swing, a little shuffle. This track I was working on, I'm not. But as you can see, I use plenty of different samples and try not to use them in succession. I haven't added in my open hi-hats in this track yet, so this is, I mean, how it sounds. I think that's a lot better. Here's the stuff I didn't explain the last video. Get some samples that all have a few different tonal qualities. You don't want to hear the same noise over and over. So I'd say 6 different samples is pretty decent. Make sure also to go into your hi-hats, and this Ableton doesn't do this by default, which is annoying. Then sampler, by default they have velocity disabled, so this will be 0. Say if you imported this sample, you're just going to come down here and turn it up to 100%. So then you can control the velocity of your hi-hats. You don't want your hi-hats to be too piercing either. I turned down the track a few decibels because some people have these really piercing hi-hats that like are just really shrill, and that they could start off with just a nice little noise and end up being like because they have it turned up too high and there's too much stuff going on at once. So I turn it down a bit, and then controlling the velocity can give it a lot of uniqueness. Like, I'd say that's my loudest hi-hat, so I'll turn that down a bit and give it a bit of uniqueness to it. And pretty much all my songs I'll have a few parts that'll do something like this. A cool thing you can do with your hi-hats and velocity is on Ableton you can hold down Control, I don't know what it is on Mac, and hold down Control and click down here and draw a line. And it'll draw a ramp of velocity, so it'll sound like so pretty much I don't EQ my hi-hats. I just make sure that I add in, which I didn't do, add in a bit of reverb on your hi-hats. 50% dry and wet. You want it to be kind of dry. You don't want too much reverb, or it'll just sound like shit. Oh my god, my voice just cracked. I apologize. Okay, so decay time can be like 2. No. Okay. I've usually put up this chorus controller thing a bit, and then your hi-hats will sound something like this. That's too much reverb, so now you can see there's just a bit, so yeah, that's pretty much how I do my hi-hats. Just I don't focus on the EQing on the hi-hats. I go straight for the samples. I think all that matters in hi-hats is that you have the right samples and they're not too repetitive. Cymbals, that's a new thing I've done. I decided to quit putting my rides and crashes in with the hats because I like to compress the cymbals. Oh yes, another thing. The hi-hats, if you want a bit of headroom, you don't want too much clipping, I take the main hi-hat samples I like these two, and leave them centered. You can open up this by clicking the arrow by your hi-hats. These two are like the best, so these stay centered, but what I've done in these, I pan them. This one's panning to the left, this one to the right, this one's centered, and then as well as these, and that makes it where it gives it a bit of diversity and it sounds kind of cool. Not to mention, you know, you have your mono hi-hats, the bar would keep jumping up. Well, instead it does this, so there's less chance of you clipping or even hitting the limiter. So that's another cool thing about it. So I do that. Cymbals. All I've got right now is this ride I've been working on, which is built into Ableton. And something I've done with it is EQ'd it because it sounds kind of, it's not what I want. I want it to only have the higher frequencies, so I've EQ'd it and taken out the tone almost and just left the high frequencies. So you can EQ it however you want or not EQ it, but I think a ride cymbal is a necessity in most tracks. I've got an auto pan on it too, so when it rings, it goes from left, right, left. So that kind of gives it a cool sound as well. Then I have effects, which last video I had shitty effects. This time the effects make more sense and they're not goofy. So you have a reverse cymbal here, and I'd like to have a couple of reverse cymbals. Only got one in this track right now. This is a clap. I talked about this in the last video too. I make a copy of a snare and just throw in reverb on it, and then I make it completely wet, like your mom. No. But I do set the dry and wet to 100% on a separate version of the snare. Set the decay time a bit high, so it kind of has a it's kind of like an effect, like a reverb effect for your snare. But this time I'm using a clap that came with Vengeance Dubstep Essentials, and do some reverb on it, so it's got a. And I also have the auto pan on this one. And kind of how I do the reverb on these, this is an exception because I kind of need the punch, some of the punch that's in the clap. I don't, saying it's 100% completely takes that away. So this is kind of just to give it more of a tail, I guess you could say, like, I don't know. Tail. Yes. So that's pretty much how I do my drums. Tired of my voice cracking every track. I think the main thing is use the right samples. Go check out the dude I mentioned, Reaction. It's I'll put a link in the description. He's got a really nice snare pack that I used for a long time, and they're really good and they're free. So check that out. Definitely check out Vengeance Dubstep Essentials. It comes with a lot of shitty stuff, but I think the drum samples are worth it. Yeah, it's got some really shitty stuff. So now that I have finished this tutorial, I'll show you some of the shitty stuff that comes with Vengeance Dubstep Essentials. So brutal. I guess another tip I have for people, please do not use too much of Vengeance. I understand the samples are good. You can't usually pick out a Vengeance sample when it's drums, but people are gonna fucking know if you come over here and do this shit. You should pretty much always make your own synthesizers. Okay, everyone's gonna know that you're using Vengeance if they start hearing this shit. And there are so many songs that do this, and it is so annoying. I've heard plenty of track that just have this. That is so lame. Please do not do that. There's this terrible dude called Curve that makes crunkcore, which crunkcore is the fucking worst genre. I think I'd rather... No, I wouldn't. I think they tie... I think Insane Clown Posse and crunkcore tie in level of shittiness. But this Curve guy, I guess he decided to make a dubstep rap screamo bullshit thing. And then I hear this shit. I hear this. This is a rant section, people. This is a rant section. Not... Okay. Okay, you know what? I'll just make an 808 kit, because that's just how shitty it is. This is not an exaggeration, either. So this Curve fag, everyone's saying this song is so sick. I hear this. The whole song. Not that snare, but an 808 snare nonetheless. Oh god, my voice. Sorry, I'm sick. My voice is hoarse. Yes. An 808 snare though. And some hi-hats. I think they were like... Yeah, that's what they were. They were... And then I heard this. Please do not use... Oh, my voice. Please don't use Vengeance dubstep wobbles. Please don't. It's so noticeable when you do it. Everyone's gonna know. Because everyone's heard Vengeance dubstep. I think one of the ones I really hate when I hear it is the... let me see if I can find it. What kind of talking preset is that? That is so terrible. On the other hand, a good pack worth checking out is ASL Sound Lab. They have some professional sounding bass wobbles that are unique and don't sound like which is ridiculous. Okay. This is a fucking real wobble. Those aren't really good. These are the better ones, but I think they're based on artists. So they're really cool sounding and really unique sounding, but they're based on artists, so you probably wouldn't want to use them. For instance, this is based on Datsit completely on the song Nukem, but they're really good sounds. my favorite ones in here is this one. It's the platypus. Sounding wobbles, but I think the rant's over. Thank you for watching my extremely long video, and hope it gave you some inspiration. Definitely check back. Definitely request tutorials. Yes, that would be great. Tell me if I should make better tutorials. Tell me if I should make more rants. I would be happy to rant about anything I hate for you. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like it. Fuck you if you don't. Yeah. You guys have a good day.